Hey guys, I'm working on the rebuild of the ATTE walker, and this is what I have so far. This is about like 10-15 minutes into the process. I did a little bit of a sort so that I have things organized a little bit, and that way I can kind of keep that momentum going a little better. And so far it's just some kind of platform up on these stilts. Eventually this will be something I could test out on different kind of surfaces, and it's designed so that each leg can have its own height, so kind of independent leveling there. But basically this is just some kind of troop base. It's going to have this platform that you can raise up and down, and basically bring people back up very quickly or bring them down to the surface very quickly, and then a secure kind of platform, raised platform up here. So kind of looking at some of the stuff from the Arctic line where they had the base up on stilts, just kind of a Star Wars version of that maybe, and only using pieces here from the 7675 set that I was able to sort out from the Big Lot. So just wanted to do a very early look at the project as I'm just getting started, and then next couple of clips here in this video will be the progress of this. Alright, a little bit more work done here on the some kind of bunker, I guess is what it's going to be for clone troopers. So the main shape here, kind of a trapezoidal, and then this is what will be up on the stilts, which I've removed for the time being. And then what I've got going here, just with the pieces available, are two sides with a little bit of a slope, using some Technic beams to hold those on. So both of these can currently open up pretty far. It's just going to be a matter of what I end up doing for the roof that will determine how far these can open. I'll probably be trying to use some of these dishes up, and I also have these slopes, composite slopes to use. The other thing I'm trying to build into this is a lifting mechanism for these chairs down here. Get a little better picture of those. So once this is up on the stilts, I want this to be able to lift up and down with this arm. Push this like that. So that goes up through one of the holes in the ceiling Technic beams, and then that will be able to drop up and down. Of course, when I have those legs on, it will be up off the ground quite a bit. So I'm trying to work on some kind of mechanism to make that work. Just a simple lever is probably what it will end up being. But again, working with the limited pieces that are actually in the set that I've picked out of the inventory. So, using up quite a few of those so far, but not really that large of a build. Just kind of going with my standard build style of, working my way up from the bottom, and iterations going back when I need to fill in the gaps. And then again, the mechanism here going to be some trial and error. So we'll see where I am with that in the next clip. So here's what I came up with for my rebuild of 7675, the ATTE. I kind of want to actually build the walker now, the actual set. So I think what I'm going to do is build this in studio, like I've done with my other rebuilds, and then just kind of call this a stopping point and take this apart. And then I'll have kind of the foundational structure done in studio. I can come back to that later and import a parts list of these pieces and kind of fill out the remaining details. But, the actual function part and the dimensions is what I wanted to get built physically, and that's what I've done so far. So the legs are attached now, and in a second I'm going to take this off the desk and put it on some uneven terrain to see how that works out. But while it's up here on the desk, I did want to take a look at my elevator seat function. So to do that, I'm actually going to pop these dishes off to the side, and what that allows is for this to open up. And now you can see you can have access to the inside. It's pretty bare. There's enough extra pieces and small stuff in the set to kind of populate this. There's a couple chairs left, so I could put some chairs in there and try to build some kind of computer screen. But what you actually see here is the 6x6 plate with the chairs on it. This is my elevator, and I'll go ahead and put my custom Star-Lord fig on here. Now there is a flaw with this, and that is it's exactly a 6x6 hole. So to actually go through the hole, the minifigs have to be seated in such a position that they're all the way inside that perimeter, so they can't actually sit on the middle of the chair. That's kind of the flaw of this mechanism itself, but I don't really want to perfect that right now. So how this works is we've got a little catch, a little latch here, and once I take that off of the top, that just allows this to drop down. And as that drops down, it will actually catch at a certain point up above. And so that catch up above is what's kind of stopping it from going all the way down. It actually falls to about the perfect height and kind of floats there. So, you know, as a clone, you could be running around the battlefield, you get injured, you need a break, you can run back to this kind of central deployment bunker, jump on this little elevator here, and then once you're on there, it'll just pull you back up into the bunker. Come on, there we go. And latch that up on top there. And now you're up inside under the heavily armored structure, safe from the bullets of the Trade Federation battle droids. Not a really robust rebuild. The main points of interest here are the legs that can be posed for independent height on each leg, you know, within a degree, maybe a couple inches, and the elevator function, which can drop down those troops and raise them back up again. So let's see how this looks on some uneven terrain. So here's my uneven terrain. It's just a sweatshirt on the ground, kind of crumpled up a little bit. And the way that this works is it's ball socket joints and 6x6 feet, so they can kind of swivel and angle around. And it also has a pivot on the leg itself, so each leg can have a little bit of adjustment on the height-wise. So I'll just kind of set this down in place and then go one by one through here. I think the back one needs to go up a little bit right here. This one's pretty close. And I can also kind of pivot these around. So the idea here is to have a really brace, you know, kind of brace the whole thing wherever it may be on the battlefield, and you want to have a sturdy foundation for your bunker, and, you know, kind of having these pressed as flat as they can, like the outriggers on some kind of backhoe or truck in construction where you might see. So just a little trial and error here to figure out where those are. I'm going to make a little adjustment on my hill back there. And something like that is not too bad, where it's just kind of adapted to the terrain. And then we'll release our fighter. And there you go, ready for action. Base is pretty level, it's pretty sturdy right there. So yeah, I like these ball joints. I haven't used these a lot in building, although I haven't had an opportunity to get many of these before. So I'll be experimenting with these more once I've actually built the ATTE, and then I think I have a few of these from other bulk lot purchases as well, so I don't need the ones specifically from this set, but I would like to get a little experience using them in a build, and based on what I have encountered so far, it's just kind of these two halves. Here, let me get one of these out. We'll look at this. So it's kind of two halves of a shell that actually form the ball, and then the cut piece is attached to a 2x2 base that goes on basically to a plate. So once you get these inserted, you've got a pretty good range of motion, a full 360-degree pivot this way, and then you have until this kind of hits that ledge. So this isn't all the way down. It's got to go past the hemisphere a little bit, so you can actually see this groove will completely disappear, so that it has good grip in there, and it can hold it without just falling out the top or the bottom. So yeah, gonna experiment with these a little more, and probably work these into some more builds. But really like their use in this MOC, in this rebuild of 7675. And coming up shortly on the channel, I'll be looking at the actual set that these pieces go to, the ATTE Clone Walker. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this MOC. Like I mentioned, down the road, I'll be revisiting this in studio for sure, possibly with the physical bricks, but wanted to build this up while I had the pieces out and at least get kind of the foundation of the structure done so that I could put this in digital form. And we will see you guys later on Brick System Brothers.